Up class? It's Caleb McKinley. This week I did Black No More by George Schuyler. To summarize Black No More, a scientist invents a machine or a procedure that takes black people and whitens their skin and turns them white. The procedure is very popular, and just about every African American is eager to do whatever they do and get the quite a bit amount of money to undergo the painful process of whitening their skin. However, the immense popularity of the procedure backfires and begins to further divide the country between white and black if it wasn't already enough. White supremacy rises and hatred between the two races worsens. However, as the story goes on, the lines between white and black, between white and black, they start to shift and blur. Max Disher, the story's protagonist, is a black man who chooses to turn white. Throughout the novel, we can see his viewpoints and relationships change alongside his skin color and name. However, at the very end of the novel, it's revealed that Max Disher and others who took the procedure and became white ultimately make the decision to darken their skin again. Really, at the end of the book, the white and black is just totally different. They just switch sides, but now it's wrong to be white. So the race problem, it seems, is unavoidable. Who is George Schuyler? He was born in Providence, Rhode Island in 1895. He was a prominent journalist at African American newspapers such as the Pittsburgh Courier. At a young age, he was a socialist. However, as he grew in age, he became much more conservative. We saw that when we read and talked about the Negro Art Hokum, or when we are going to. Negroes and whites from the same localities in this country talk, think, and act about the same. That is a quote that only a conservative would say, I believe. Because of his conservative politics, he was a controversial figure in the African American community, and he, especially because he opposed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and he was critical of Martin Luther King and other activists who he considered to only be grifters. Today, Schuyler is remembered both for his literary skills and his dramatic shift in politics. And yeah, the most interesting thing that I found while researching George Schuyler was his dramatic shift in politics. At a young age, he was a member of different socialist organizations and groups. However, as he grew old, you can see in his autobiography the title Black and Conservative. He was a black conservative. Uh, One quote that stood out to me is this: "In South Africa, you have a system of apartheid. That's their business. I don't think it's the business of other people to change their society." That is a very conservative way of thinking about apartheid. Here are my favorite quotes from Black No More. "Obviously, he reasoned, if there were no Negroes, there would be no Negro problem. Without a Negro problem, Americans could concentrate their attention on something constructive." Number two, "These people have been raised on the Negro problem. They're used to it. They're trained to react to it. Why should I rack my brain to hunt up something else when I can use a Dodge that's always delivered the goods?" In this quote, we can see how Schuyler believes that a lot of the race work or racial politics is all a grift. And finally, my third and last quote: "Those who had always maintained that it was impossible to get Negroes together for anything but a revival, a funeral, or a frolic, now had to admit that they had cooperated well in getting white." All right, here are my discussion questions. Firstly, as he grew in age, Schuyler's politics and belief system grew more and more conservative. How did his conservative beliefs make their way into Black No More? If they did, how did they affect the story? All right, second, what conditions or situations made the idea of whitening their skin so popular among African Americans? Do those same conditions or situations exist today? And in other words, would African Americans be so open to whitening their skin in 2023? All right, guys, thank you very much for watching.